Welcome back. Part 6, FMS Avanti 18th Anniversary Edition Turbine Conversion. Today's video we're going to look at how we put this together, how we were able to get everything mapped in there, set right, and start talking about my planned layout of how I'm going to lay out the electronics in this. Alright, so first of all, for this tray here, you're going to want to put it together, and it's going to be all the way forward, as forward as you can. Now the easiest way to do this is take these little red feet, go ahead and screw them onto your board, right? So they'll be hanging down here, they'll be connected right here on the bottom side, right? Take that, get a piece of cardboard or something stiff, right? Set it on, okay, and then use a felt tip pen or Sharpie or whatever, and just make your little dot marks where all the little holes for these screws got to go. Okay, that's what I did, and that way then all I had to do was cut that piece of cardboard to this shape, drop the cardboard down in there, drill my holes because I already had all my holes then, and wham, everything lined up, good to go. Okay, so the 6-pin wires coming from the wings, the DB9 connectors on the wings. So I went ahead and I ran them underneath the wood plate here, right? Brought them up through the first hole. This board here is the board that used to sit right up here where the green electronics board was, right? So when I did with mine, I cut a little bit here and here just so I could get that board out without ruining it. I didn't want to, damage the board or cut it in half or anything. So I got it out, and then all I did was trimmed it to fit. And what it is, there's a right here is where the radius just starts to bend in from the original foam, and so I butted it all the way up against that radius, and then screwed it in place. And what's that gonna do is my electronics board here now is going to sit right here, and then these 6-pin connectors of course will plug right into there, but that's where my green board's going to sit. And that might have to change when I get the 34-ounce tank, but for now I'm planning on just the 800. I'll come back to it if I need to, but that's going to sit right there. Now the way I'm setting up my model is every control surface except the flaps get their own channel. So I'm going to have my elevators, each one has its own channel. Ailerons have their own channel. Now you're probably saying, well, you can't do that because of this connector. You're right, you can't. But what I did was I modified this board. Okay, it's a pretty easy modification if you want to do it, and I'll take pictures of it. There'll be pictures at the end to show you. But basically what I did was the 3rd pin from the top here connects the 2 signal wires together for the ailerons. So I slit that track. I slit that track, and I split it pretty wide. I made sure there was no electrical connection anymore. Then put some UV, cured some UV on there to make sure it doesn't oxidize or anything. And then I ran these jumper wires. I ran this jumper wire here to this pin. That pin is now the signal pin, what says elevator on it, and it's actually channel 2. So on the top side it says channel 2. Okay, and so now this, since each of my control surfaces have their own, I got extension wires coming up to the elevator. Each elevator's got a wire coming up to the receiver, so obviously this elevator is not used. Here is not used. And what I did was then I took that, ran it into the receiver as the 2nd aileron servo. So that's the way you can get over your ailerons being tied together. Very easy modification. If you're not comfortable doing it, I can probably do it for you. Well, I can do it for you, but it'll be like a nominal fee, maybe $20. You have to send me your board. I'll modify it, send it back to you. But that's only going to work if you are doing separate ailerons and separate elevators. Okay? Because you need this channel 2 here available so you can do this modification. So if you don't plan on running separate channels on your elevators, you can't do this, right? You could probably find another way to do it, Yeah, there might be another way to do it, but you know, I don't know right now. I did it the way that I want to do it. Okay, so now the only connections on this board is going to be the two 6-pins, the gear wire from the front wheel, of course, is going to go here, and then I took the two lights and I merged them together. Okay, you know, did a little cable management here, put an extension lead on it. Okay. Did I really need to put the extension? Yeah, I put the extension lead on it. That's right, because in case I get the bigger tank. But I put the extension lead on it, and then of course the lights now will plug in. The lights are just a 2-pin. It's just positive and ground. Okay, so on these pins, the far pin on this side, each far pin is negative. All right, so just put your connector on any one of those. You can go to this one. You could go to this one. You could go to this one. Doesn't matter. All that matters is ground is pointing that way. So I could put the lights right here, right? And then I could, just to show you it's working, I can put this on anything, and is the light flashing? Yep, you see it powered up. So, like I said, I can even go to this one. Doesn't matter. I could go to this one. Doesn't matter, because all the positives, all the negatives on all of these pins are all tied together. So that's why it doesn't matter where you put, you know, your battery connection. All right. So like I said, my green board's going to sit right here, and it's just perfect because these connectors, you know, it's all going to fit just perfect the way that I want it. All right. So that's the green board. So on my layout, my receiver is going to sit right here. That's where I'm planning on my receiver sitting. And it's almost like they designed the plane. It was perfect for the batteries. So this will be my ECU battery. It's a 2S LiPo 2200. And you know, it's a little bit tall, so you know, it kind of takes a little bit of work, but you can shove that in there, right? And then just for now, I might be using, it's definitely going to be a life battery. I'm not using BECs anymore. I had a BEC failure on the Viper, caused a complete loss of the Viper. Turbine turned out okay, but no more BECs in my turbine planes. So I'm going to be using a life battery. And so I don't know if I'm going to stick with this or a bigger one, but right now, as you can see, it's almost like a perfect fit. You know, it's like it was made for that. And then you're probably asking, oh, now the canopy won't go down. Oh, no. Canopy goes down just fine. No force at all needed. Stick it in the front. Look at that. It just slid right in. No problems. Slid right in and bam. There you go. It's almost like it was made for batteries right there. Now, that gives me some wiggle room because now with my receiver, okay. So with my receiver sitting right here, you know, I've got room to put bigger packs in if I need to for more weight. You know, CG is going to determine ultimately what size batteries and where they're going to sit up here. Or they might even have to sit over here on the side. Like I said, CG is going to determine it all, but this is how I'm planning it right now. The batteries to be here, the receiver to be here. Okay. Get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. And then for the tray, where's the UAT? There it is. Okay, so the UAT is going to sit right there. And no problem with this connector. It looks like it might bump the canopy. No problem at all. Clears just fine. Right? And so what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the one that'll go to the tank here. This will be my fill line. Right? And I'll have a dry brake connector on it. And, you know, I'll probably snake it around here and just let it dangle right over here. Dry brake connector on it. All right, so that'll go to the tank. Of course, you know, that one will go to the pump. And for the pump, so I made a mark of where the nipple starts. The pump, I'm going to place, so the green board's going to be here. the pump I'm going to place, pump's going to go right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snake this over, connect it to the pump, and I'm using the Zycoy 45, so my pump's very small. It clears inside of here, no problem. So the pump will mount right here. So this will come in, snake into the pump. The pump will come out of the pump. So pump will be right here. I'll have the tube come out through the. It's probably going to be this hole. No, it might be this hole. Well, we'll see. One of these. But anyways, the fuel tubing will come out. The filter is going to be either at an angle or here, but the filter is going to go somewhere in here, right? And then that is going to lead to the ball valve. The ball valve is going to sit somewhere in here. So filter and ball valve somewhere in here, and then that going up over the tank and down in, connecting to the turbine. So that's how I plan on doing my layout. And oh yeah, there's going to be one more battery. So I run 3 batteries. One battery for the ECU, one battery runs the electronics, the receiver and the servos, and then I'll have another little battery. Let me grab it. So either one of these, like I said, CG is going to determine what I use and what I don't use, but one of these is going to be for the brakes. This will run the brakes. And like I said, you got plenty of room. I mean, look at this. It was like it was made for it. It just slips right in. I mean, what more do you want? Drill a hole, put a dowel rod in there so it can't move. Same with these. I'll probably make something to come across here to hold those in place this way. But here, you just drill a little hole, stick a dowel rod in there, and this thing ain't moving. Same thing here. You can put a dowel rod right there. This thing ain't going this way. It ain't moving this way. So with the 3 batteries, I got lots of wiggle room here of where I can mount things to make CG come out right. Now I'm assuming it's going to be pretty tail heavy because of how far back that turbine's mounted in this plane. It's it's pretty far back there. And so that's how I'm going to do my layout. Now the 34 ounce tank coming is going to excuse me. So 34 ounce tank coming. The tank's going to stop about right here, but the nipple is going to extend up under this plate. So we'll see. It's one with the nipples in the middle. It's got the two connectors on the top. So it should lay out beautifully. Should, right? So this board will probably have to move. The board, where the green board's going to mount. This board might have to move back to accommodate the larger tank when it gets here. Oh, we'll have to see. But this is how I'm planning it right now. Probably not going to do anything about this because like I said, that tank is in there. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's just going to give it more air to come in for the turbine. Maybe getting air coming here, cool off the batteries. Hell, who knows? But yeah, that's my plan for how I'm going to do mine. And like I said, I'll put pictures at the end of things I think that are important for how to, like the green board and whatever else I think of. But this gives you a gist of how I'm doing my things. And any questions, just leave it in the comments. See you in the next video.